What's up, guys? So in this video I want to talk to you guys just about competitive mentality and just kind of the mentality to improve at this game. So the reason I kind of want to talk about this, and I kind of got the idea to talk about this, is because I believe that Rocket League and really any game is very largely a mental game, right? A lot of people always, focus on the stuff that's inside the game, um, kind of very actively. Stuff like mechanics, stuff like game sense, stuff like rotations, positioning, whatever. Like they like to always, focus on these things. And don't get me wrong, these are good things to focus on. These are correct things to focus on, and they are very important. But what I kind of want to explain to you guys in terms of my experience, getting to GC3 in this game, getting to top 2000 Immortal 3 in Valorant, getting to, high ranks in pretty much every game I've ever played. I've really kind of, I've been one of those people who doesn't play a lot of games at once, but I've always, I would play one game and I would get really good at it, and then, eventually I would like quit that game probably, which is kind of the way I've been doing it, right? And the reason I think that benefits me a lot is because the thing from all of these games, the game sense, the mechanics are so vastly different, right? Like my game sense in Rocket League will not translate over in any way to Valorant, and vice versa. Which means that for every game that you learn, or every game that you play, everything else is different, right? So the only thing that is similar, or well, the same, for these games is the mentality that you must have. And that's why I think genuinely every single game that you play, whether it's Rocket League or if it's anything else, but of course, Rocket League is very largely a game of mentality, right? Because the thing is, everyone has good game sense, everyone has good mechanics, to a certain extent and stuff like that, and anyone can get those things to be really good. That's completely, normal. It happens. Like, if you train mechanics long enough, you'll have good mechanics. If, you play with intention, you watch your replays, you fix your mistakes, all the stuff that I talk about in my other videos, you will get good game sense. But the thing is that to get a good mentality is a whole nother story. And I see people all the time in comment sections, in real ranked games, in my own lobbies, and in other people's lobbies, who just don't rank up, and it's so obvious that it's because of their mentality. So, kind of want to talk to you guys about the main things about mentality, the things that are super important. So if you genuinely want to rank up and, improve above all else, this will be kind of the video for you. So, I have kind of three main points that I have, and then I might, kind of go into some separate parts about them. But firstly and most importantly about mentality, I want to start with being self-critical, because it's genuinely it is by far the most important. And some guys, might dislike me for this. Some might say, oh, you're just repeating content, you're just saying the same stuff over and over again. Whatever, bro. I genuinely don't care if, for people like that, because the thing is, right, this tip is something that I cannot say that I'm giving for the first time. But the reason that I'm giving it is because there are so many people who struggle with this, including me. Every single person, even your favorite pro players, struggle with this sometimes. But the reason that they're pro players and, you and me are just some average plebs is because we don't have the same kind of mindset as they do as often, right? We might blame ourselves for games whenever, whenever it's comfortable, whenever it's easy, right? When it's actually our fault, we might blame ourselves. But let's say if it's not our fault, let's say if our teammate is the one who makes the majority of the mistakes, are we still going to be as positive-minded? Are we still going to, be as self-critical? Are we? A lot of the time, the answer is no. when people make mistakes, they'll blame themselves and whatnot. But when they think it's their teammate, then they won't, you know, and they'll just shift all of the blame to the teammate and be like, "Yep, it's my teammate's fault. Yep, I'm hard stuck because of my teammate." And the thing about this is that I've gotten so many comments, you know, of people trying to like argue with me on this point and basically say like, no, 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 but trust me, it's my teammates. If you saw my teammates, you know, you would understand, but you don't see them. That's why. And I just want to like tell you guys that if you're genuinely self-critical, if you don't, you know, write comments that are coping like this, and if you don't think like this, you know, if you don't think that your teammates are the reason you're stuck, if you realize that you only have yourself to blame, and you actually take accountability, which is the most important part, right, of being self-critical. Because saying that you suck is technically self-critical, but you gain nothing from it. You gain nothing from just saying you suck at the game. The only thing that you can kind of do with being self-critical is actually take those, you know, I suck moments and turn them into improvement. And instead of it being I suck, it's I am making these mistakes and now I'm going to work on trying to fix them. Right? That's the only thing you can do. That's genuinely the only thing you can do. So, firstly, you have to realize that you should even be self-critical. Right? That's the number one thing. And the thing about this that a lot of people don't like is that, oh, but what if I have, you know, 400 points and my teammate has 50? Yeah, it doesn't matter. You still didn't play perfectly. And if you say to yourself that you played a game of Rocket League and you played perfectly, then you're lying. Like, you're just lying. No one has ever played a perfect game. Like, think of whoever's the best Rocket League player in the world right now. I can guarantee you they've never played a perfect game. Because it's very, like, it's impossible. You will always make at least some sort of mistakes. And the thing with that is that you might say, oh, but I didn't play perfect, sure, but I played good enough. Or my teammate made more mistakes. Or I shouldn't have to play flawlessly to rank up in Plat. Yeah, but what are we going to do about it? You know? A lot of people want to just kind of cope, and it's like, well, what's the point? What do you gain from this? You gain nothing, right? So if you think logically, what do you stand to gain from saying that it's your teammate's fault? What do you benefit? The only thing you benefit is actually not a benefit, but it's kind of feeling better about yourself in terms of you feel better as a player. But it's like, it's just a Dunning-Kruger effect where you think you're really good even though you're not, right? Which it benefits you, I guess, in terms of, you know, you feel like less stress, you feel, I don't know, more at ease or something. But the thing is, it's fake, right? It's not truthful. And a lot of the time, deep down, people even know this, right? Because it doesn't make them happy. They want to win. They don't want to be right. And the number one thing you just have to do, it's literally just this one question. What could I have done better? Every single time. And you have to force it. You have to force it so much that it just eventually you just start doing it. You need to get into the habit and the mindset of, I'm going to just do this, no matter what it takes, right? If it's going to be really hard and you're going to be like, fuck, man, how do I do this? But you will eventually get it if you just do it enough. If you say to yourself every single game, what could I have done better? Every single game, firstly, and every single goal, you know? You concede, what could I have done better? Okay, my teammate missed the ball here, or he didn't make the save that I think he should have made, but the thing is they should have never even had a shot in the first place, but they only had a shot because I passed the ball middle to them, or I gave away possession, and then they ended up getting a 1v1 with my teammate, right? Whatever. The opportunities are absolutely endless. So you have to be able to be analyzing of the game and realize like what is actually going on. Because if you don't have that, then you have nothing, you know? So that's the first thing, right? Being self-critical. But the thing about it is that you don't want to go overboard into the other side, you know? You don't want to become overly self-critical. And I can say that I've done this well a lot over the years. And, you know, even recently, right? It happens. Sometimes you kind of get into it and you start looking at your mistakes a little too aggressively. You start to think about them too much. You start to think of them too highly. And that leads to genuinely just tilt, disappointment, and kind of a negative view of the game. So you have to try your best to like be like, what could I have done better? You know, oh, I didn't do this great. How am I gonna do it better next time? But you don't want to get into the loop of, oh, I'm so bad at this game. I need to uninstall. I'm so trash. Like every kind of, you know, self-criticalness, so to speak, that you have should be like the way you'd give it to a friend. Is kind of how I've been realizing that, you know, you have to do it. So like if you're partied up with a friend, a lot of you do play with friends, so you'll understand this. If they make a mistake, do you say, "Yeah, you're fucking trash, bro"? Okay, maybe as a joke, some of you do, but I wouldn't even make those jokes, to be honest, because I think they're not very beneficial. But I digress. If you play with your friend, most of the time, and you know, being truthful at least, you're not going to be saying like, "Yeah, you're trash." Instead, you're going to say like, "Oh, unlucky, bro. Yeah, it happens. Yeah, it happens, bro. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. It happens." Now, why don't you do that for yourself? You should do that exact same thing for yourself. Unlucky, yeah, my bad, sorry. Should have done better there? It happens. It happens. And you have to have that same kind of mindset with yourself as you would with your friend. Because if you think about it, you are the closest thing to, quote unquote, you know, your friend. Like you are the person whose improvement you care about the most. You are the person whose rank you care about the most. So why would you not give yourself the same kind of treatment as you would a friend, right? You should. So that's kind of the point of being self-critical, right? Now the second point that I have is confidence, and this is genuinely the biggest and like arguably most important part of the game. It's very, very important, and the reason for it is very simple. The thing is, in many games, and of course still in Rocket League as well, over the years I've seen so many cases of just kind of momentum, right? A lot of things that we do in these games are very momentum based. So what that means is you will always play better when you have the momentum, when you feel like you're on a streak, right? When you feel like you can't make a mistake, when you feel like you're just playing really well, you're playing really solidly. And that is just the feeling of confidence. If you're not confident, if you're like, you missed the ball, and instead of thinking, ah, unfortunate, okay, and staying focused on the game, you know, again, kind of, if you're being overly self-critical, you know, you're like, oh, I'm so bad, like, that's gonna destroy your confidence. So that's why we don't wanna do these things. We want to keep our confidence high at all times, and it's very difficult to do. It's very easy to say, just be confident. It's very hard to do, but it is the most important thing, or one of the most important things that you will ever do, right? Because I can tell you, fully honestly, that if I'm playing confidently, and I'm playing at like, you know, my best, I think I can be at like a low SSL level. Like if I'm playing at my absolute peak of my powers. But if I'm playing at my lowest powers, if I'm playing with my least amount of confidence, if I'm playing, you know, kind of down and I don't really like believe in myself, and I don't like have that kind of confidence when I'm, you know, playing the game, then I could be a GC1, right? I genuinely believe that. So this should be kind of like a tell, and a lot of people I think can, you know, relate to that, where it's like at your best you think you're like you belong in the next rank, but like at your worst you think you belong in the rank below you. It's like why is that a thing? How does that happen? Well, it's normal. It's normal because we're human, right? But the thing is, to avoid that at all costs, we just have to absolutely, we have to understand that regardless of what happens in a specific game, our skill is still our skill, right? So like, you could have a day where you lose 100 MMR, you go down a bunch of, games, you lose a bunch of games. It happens. Like, if you think about the best player right now, I promise you, whoever you're thinking of, they've had that. Like, there's not a pro player in the world right now, and there will never be a single pro player in the world at any point in history who has never had a loss streak, who has never played badly, who has never went on a loss streak, who's never like done any of these things. It happens to literally everyone. But the difference between them and you, or them and me, or them and whoever, is that they come out of it, right? Like, you have to realize that every single time that you do kind of have a bad session, you can never let it impact your mentality. You can never let it impact the way you think of yourself, the identity that you hold as a player. You can never do that, right? Like, if I'm a GC3 player, and I believe myself to be a GC3 player, and I think, I'm really good at the game, whatever. If I go on a losing streak of like 200 MMR, can I lose that in myself? Can I lose that faith in myself? No, right? Because what do you think is realistically going to be the thing that helps you rank up again, right? Let's say you were Champ 1. You got all the way to Champ 1, and you're like, let's go, man. New peak, I love being Champ 1, yay. Now, you've been there a little bit, a couple days pass, you're kind of there, and then you drop massively, and you go down all the way to Diamond 2, like mid to low Diamond 2, and you think to yourself, how did this happen? I was just a Champ 1, like, insert every other thought. And now pause, and just think about this. What kind of mentality do you think will help in this situation? You still thinking, nah, I'm a champ player. I can get out of this Diamond 2 for sure, bro. I can be a champ player. I'm just gonna play like a champ player, and I will get out of here. Or the mentality of, I'm so bad. I'm a Diamond 1 like player. I'm a plat player. I'm so bad. Which one do you seriously think is gonna help you rank up more? And if we're being truthful, we all know the answer. We all know the answer. So, I guess one thing that I'm trying to kind of get at is, stop feeling sorry for yourself, right? Like, it doesn't matter. You just have to move on and climb again, right? You've done it before. You have the proof. You quite literally have proof that you can do it, because you did, right? You have proof that you can hit champ because you already did. Now, what if you don't have the proof? What if you haven't hit champ yet? Well, then you have the proof, or you should at least, which everyone pretty much does. You have proof that you are diamond, right? If you're trying to hit champ, you have proof that you are diamond. And the thing is, the difference between diamond and champ, it's not the biggest, right? The difference from any rank, it's not the biggest thing. There's not massive differences in ranks a lot of the time. So you need to just kind of think to yourself, I'm good enough for this next rank. Or if you're not good enough, right, then just take confidence from the fact that you are actively working on your mistakes. Like, if you are a diamond player and you make a lot of mistakes, or like, let's say you make like a couple of mistakes, you watched your replays, or you had a coach or whatever, someone told you that, you're making these mistakes, you're doing this wrong. You can take confidence from the fact that now you are working on these mistakes. You are fixing mistakes that nobody else in Diamond is. Because, let me be honest, in most ranks, people are too concerned with blaming their teammates and complaining about other things, or just playing for fun. Like, people are not actually, like, watching videos like this one. Like, you are different to the general population of the game. Most people are not doing this, right? Which means that what you are doing right now is setting yourself apart. And you have to take confidence in that. Like, you have to take confidence in that. This is the type of mentality that one must have to get good at anything. Like, you need to believe that you are a part of a small group of people. You know, like, look at the views down in this video right now. Look at the amount of views. That's not a lot of people. As much as I'd love to get a lot of views, I don't get that many views. You know, if you think about how many players there are in Rocket League, and then you think about, you know, the views on this video or whatever, it's not that many. Because most people are not obsessed with improvement. Most people are not trying to actively improve. Most people are playing games on autopilot, not even focused on the game a lot of the time. And they'll just be blaming their teammates whenever they lose, or being toxic, or just kind of whatever. They will literally just, they're not even, like, the average person is not even really trying that hard. And you should take confidence from the fact that you are. Because the thing is, if you're putting in the work, which, I mean, if you're watching this video, I hope you are, right? If you truly want to improve and all that, then, like, how would you not be confident? You know? Like, if you know that all of your competition, or pretty much all, like, large majority of your competition is not even trying anywhere near as hard as you, you should think, like, okay, these people are not going to improve. These people are going to get hard stuck. These people are going to be the people who stay in this, you know, plat, diamond, champ, whatever, wherever you are. These people are the ones who are going to stay here forever, you know? And I'm going to get out because I'm doing what's required. And you should take confidence in that. So I'm sorry if I repeated myself on that kind of point a little, but it's just really important that you do so, because the thing is with confidence as well, last thing I want to add is, like, it is genuinely better to have, like, a false sense of confidence than to have no confidence, right? It's much better to think that you're, like, the best player in the world and not be, than to think you're the worst player in the world, right? Always. Always. You need to have that little bit of ego even. But the thing is with ego is, like, you know, you can't let it contain you, but I think you should have it. I think that every single person should have a little bit of ego. I think it's healthy, and I think, again, just it increases your competitive drive. It increases how much you want to win. You know, if you're in, like, Diamond and you were champ before, again, like the previous example, if you have the ego that you're, like, a good player and whatnot, you will want to improve just for the sake of getting out of the rank. You will play confidently because you're like, I'm better than all these players. And that's completely fine to think, okay? Do not get it twisted with these, you know, nowadays everyone has a soft mentality. It's like, everyone's really good at the game. No, everyone's really good. No, everyone's not really good. You should want to be the best player in every single lobby. Like, I'm sorry I'm getting a little sidetracked, but this is honestly actually super important that I kind of forgot about before. Is, like, you need to have this kind of mentality if you really want to improve. You need to think that in every single lobby that you step into, you are the best player in the world. You are the best player in the lobby. If you have squishy muffins, if you have Zen in your lobby, you should still be able to think that you're the best player in the lobby at all times. And that doesn't mean that you have to think that everyone else is bad, which is what a lot of people think, right? The average person thinks all the time that if you think you're really good, you must think that everyone else is really bad. It doesn't have to necessarily be the case. I can go into a GC3 lobby and be like, yep, I'm the best player in this lobby. And I'm not thinking, oh, all these players are shit, oh, these guys are so bad, oh, they're so bad. No, I'm just thinking I'm just that good. Like, that's the view that I think you should have. And I think that's very healthy. And I think it's a very good thing to have. You just need to let it not get over you, kind of, in terms of letting it out. Like, I should think that I'm the best player in the lobby, but I'm not going to tell anyone that. I'm not going to tell my teammates and my opponents or whoever, like, you guys are all bad, I'm way better than all of you. I'm the best player in the lobby. Like, obviously not. Shut, like, if anyone ever says that, you're like, shut the fuck up, what are you doing? You're just a weirdo, right? Obviously. So, what I'm trying to get at with this last point is that you should take some pride in and confidence in the fact that you are a good player. And you should, you really should. And I believe that to be the case. Now, on to my third point. It's positivity. And genuinely, this is probably the most underrated one, because a lot of people, you know, they know about being confident, they know about being self-critical, and, you know, maybe they do those things, maybe they don't, whatever. But positivity in all things that you do, but especially Rocket League mentality, is just so underrated, and it's so important. Because the thing is, okay, if you truly want to do these other things correctly, you need to be positive. You can't be confident if you're not positive, right? You can't be self-critical if you're not positive, because then, again, like we said before, you'll be overly critical, right? So to be properly self-critical and to get properly confident, you need to be positive. So I want you to, and when I say, you know, be positive, I mean a healthy look at the game. Be happy that you're on the grind, that you have something to improve on, that you're you know, working towards something, right? A goal. Don't think about things that, like, don't really matter, you know? Things that will just bring down your kind of your mood or whatever. Like, again, like MMR, like rank. Thinking about things like this. Thinking about the fact that maybe you're playing badly, or maybe your teammates are playing badly, or whatever. Like, these are things you should not be thinking about, because all they will do, right, is just remove your joy and feeling that you want to play the game. And that's the worst thing that could happen, you know? Like, I am all about Rocket League improvement, right? If you watch my videos, I help people improve at Rocket League. But I have to say this, and this is, I think, the first time I've actually ever said this on this channel. Rocket League is a video game, at the end of the day. And what that means is that improving at it is great. Wanting to get better is great. But it should never be your entire life. It should never be what consumes you. It should never have a massive impact on things outside of the game. So if you have a bad day of Rocket League, let's say you lose some MMR, I don't want you to get off the game that day and have, like, your mood be ruined by pixels on a screen, by Rocket League MMR, because that's, like, firstly, it's not gonna help you, you know, in outside of Rocket League, right? You're just gonna have a worse kind of, you know, feeling about everything, really. And secondly, inside of Rocket League, it also doesn't help you. Right? You gain nothing from being mad at the game, mad at yourself, whatever. Like, you gain absolutely nothing from kind of just being negative. And this kind of goes in games as well, like, not just, you know, in your own head and stuff, but like in games. Please, if you're having a, you know, if your teammate's having a bad game, for example, be there, be supportive. Don't be toxic. Don't be the guy who woulda saves your teammate, or starts spamming quick chats to them, or starts typing to them like, oh, you're the worst player I've ever seen, you boosted fuck. Like, genuinely, right? You need to think in the other person's perspective, right? You need to think about if you were in their shoes, because you have been. All of us have had someone trash talk us before because we've had a bad game. I don't think there's a Rocket League player out there who has never gotten trash talked because of their, you know, bad performance. If you have, lucky you, but this doesn't apply to you. Basically, have you ever felt good when you're having a bad game? When you're playing really badly, you're having a bad day of Rocket League overall, you're just not playing well, right? Happens to absolutely everyone. Really unfortunate. Now, what do you think in that moment is the thing that you want the most? You would want to be positive. And what is the thing that you would want the least? Negativity. Toxicity. Getting flamed. You will never, like, it's so hard to put it into words, but like, if you're having a bad game, the possible like worst thing is when you're already being self-critical, right? You're already like a little mad at yourself. You're like, "Ugh, I'm playing so badly today," and then you get that negative reinforcement of your opponents or your teammates or whoever, just saying, "Yeah, you're boosted. You're horrible. You're this. You're that." And I've had that so many times. I had it a couple months ago, I want to say now, when I was in around like GC2. I had an opponent who played with me, or well, against me, in in 3 games in a row. And then each game, he kept trash talking me. Like, in the first game, he said I was like boosted and really bad or whatever. And then in the second game, he did the same. And then in the third one, he still did the same. Like, and I wasn't even responding. I was literally not saying a single word. And this guy was just like, he was just angry, even though he was beating me. So I don't know. He was getting free MMR, but either way, right? The thing is, do you think that like helps me? No. It just made me more mad at myself, because it made me like realize like, oh, I'm actually so bad, like everyone else even in this lobby realizes it, and stuff like that, right? And it kind of just lets you downward spiral very easily when you listen to these people. But you have to do everything but that. You have to not listen to these people. You need to not take your confidence again and kind of self-worth and just overall, well-being from how your opponents or your teammates think of you, right? If it bothers you, turn off chat. Yesterday, I got called a champ 3 because I had a bad game. Guess what? I turned off chat. It happens. People have bad days, and other people who also have bad days, but not in terms of Rocket League, but just in terms of their life or something, will a lot of the time be toxic to you. And it happens. So that's fine. It's literally, the thing is, I could sit here and be like, it's so annoying, it's such a bad thing that people are toxic, like, oh man, like if we could just remove toxicity, but like the thing is, there's no point in me doing that, right? I gain nothing from doing that, and so do you, so never complain about these things. They genuinely just bring you no benefit other than just waste, well, not even, that's not a benefit, but they don't do anything for you other than waste your energy, right? And your brain power. So if you are playing the game, and you're being talked, someone's talked shit to you, turn off chat. Turn off text chat if you're getting typed to. If they're quick chatting, what is saving you? Do the block non-tactical quick chat thing right here. Turn this on. So then only thing you will see is kickoff strats. Or if they still spam like take the shot or whatever, just turn off quick chat and match chat. Like literally just turn everything off. If you don't like getting seeing that, which let's be honest, no one does. Like just turn it off. Because what is the benefit? The benefit is, well, nothing. You just end up feeling worse about yourself. Or if you don't feel worse about yourself because you don't believe them, then you'll just get angry because of what they're saying, right? Which is like, it's arguably worse, but at best it's the same thing. So there's no benefit, right? So those are kind of the 3 main components of competitive mentality that I wanted to talk about in this video. If you genuinely like master all of these, which I haven't even mastered all of them, but like if you do, like you'll have everything that you need in terms of mentality to hit SSL. And I genuinely believe that, because if you every single game, right? If you can do this every time, right? Not sometimes, not every other week. If you could do this every time you play, you're self-critical. What could I have done better? What did I do wrong? I don't care about my teammates. What could I have done? Focusing on yourself. If you do that, if you play super confidently, I'm in this rank for a reason. I got here because I'm a good player. I'm the best player in all of these lobbies. If you do that, will help you. If you do both of those two things, while remaining in a positive light of the game, right? Be happy that you're on the path to improve. Be happy that you have the chance to play this game and to enjoy it. And take that, really. And don't take it for granted, right? And just kind of be positive about the game. Like, even if there's nothing to be positive about, finding a good reason to be positive is a super useful thing. You know, so it's like, oh, I lost a bunch of MMR in these last 2 days. Okay, well, let's look for the positive in that. Let's look for the silver lining, right? Well, maybe I learned about a bunch of mistakes I was making. So maybe I'm now more aware than I was before of my kind of mistakes, and I have a better path now towards improvement because I actually know what to fix, rather than, even though before I was higher ranked, I didn't know what I was doing even wrong, and I didn't know what I needed to fix. So I had no direction. Now I have a direction, at least. Let's go. And you just do that, right? That's literally, like, that's it. And that's already a positive outlook on any type of session. Right? Like, super good. And you need to be able to do these things consistently, because that's the thing. Like, anyone can have a good mentality for a day. Anyone can go for one day without saving their teammates and thinking about their own mistakes. But the difference is the people, you know, who do it every day, and the people who do it once a year, or, you know, whatever. It just literally just depends on how often you do it. So I really advise you guys to just try this for yourself and do it as much as you possibly can. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching by me, I'm a coach at Metafy. If you like how I explain things, you know, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to check me out. First link in the description. So I appreciate all you guys for watching this video, and good luck in your games. And I will see you all in the next video. So peace out, guys.